The power of the arts to promote war or peace lies in their emotive nature. The arts help people feel things. Persuasive images like flag waving can make you feel nationalistic, for example, or shocking images can make you empathize with the victims of war and create a desire for change. Artworks have been used to promote war for centuries. The battle scene is one of the oldest subjects in art. This artwork was intended to glorify battle, making ordinary Romans want to enlist and fight for the Holy Roman Empire. Artworks promote war through creating the image of a hero, people you want to follow, people you want to be like. This image of Napoleon is strongly idealized and alludes to the inevitability of victory if you follow him. The artwork was commissioned by the King of Spain to promote his agenda. This artwork is a strong contrast to the previous image, but is actually a different artist's response to the same war. The Spanish artist Goya depicts a real historical event, a French firing squad executing ordinary people in Madrid as punishment for the actions of the Spanish rebels. The Napoleonic Wars were brutal, and there were many innocent lives lost. Goya's work was radical for its time, as it depicted war from the victim's viewpoint, which had been rarely seen before. They were considered by the Spanish king unpatriotic and were banned for 30 years after his death. One of the main points to consider when looking at images that depict or respond to conflict is who commissioned the work. The person or the state that paid for the work will influence the point of view. The artists themselves might be mere technicians painting someone else's ideas. During World War I and II, artists were commissioned by the British government to record the wars. Rather than simply take orders and paint what they were told, many of the artists resisted and produced anti-war imagery. John Singer Sargent painted Gas, showing a group of soldiers suffering the effects of poisonous mustard gas. Censorship of anti-war art was rife. The war artist Paul Nash painted desolate landscapes destroyed by war and said, "I am not allowed to put dead men in my pictures because apparently they don't exist." Governments and regimes have used propaganda to promote war for centuries, to drive people to enlist. Various techniques are used, such as demonizing the enemy, making people scared, appealing to prejudices. These kinds of images manipulate the viewer in a very similar way to modern advertising. Many artists have tried to use the same techniques to promote peace. This example, produced in America in the 1970s, is trying to use the rhetoric of war to send a message to the masses that the end of the American Vietnam War will be victory for both sides. This image is a modern work borrowing the iconography of the propaganda art from World War II to send a message to the masses that the media controls people even today, especially in regards to conflict. The artist is using humor and irony to convey his message. The art movement Dada was formed as an anti-war group in response to the tragedies they witnessed in World War I. The craziness of the artwork produced by the Dadaists, they felt, reflected the chaos of their time. They were against the established order, which they saw as morally bankrupt. This memorial, The Grieving Parents by Kathy Klowitz, a German artist who lost her youngest son in the battlefields of World War I, offers a searing account of the real cost of war, a very personal piece that allows the viewer to empathize with the impact of war on families. Picasso's Guernica shows the tragedy of war, using innocent civilians as the focal point During the Vietnam War, the room containing the painting became an occasional site for anti-war vigils. A tapestry copy of the work hangs in the walls of the UN building at the entrance of the Security Council room. This work by Yoko Ono is a statement of peace that is made in 1966 in response to the Vietnam War. Everything is white, making the warring factions indistinguishable from one another. The work plays on the metaphor, war is a game. This artwork by Alfredo Jarre is about a woman, Gutete Emerita, who survived a Rwandan genocide after seeing her son and husband murdered in front of her. Alfredo Jarre says about the work, "Her eyes are our eyes, and we see what she saw, and through her words we are able to go through what she did." In this work, the artist projects moving images of hands and the voices of 14 survivors of the atomic bomb on the A-bomb dome site in Hiroshima. They told the story of how they were affected by the bomb and gave the crowd a very moving account of the lasting effect of the conflict. This artwork humanizes difficult issues by acting as a witness to violence. The graffiti artist Banksy has created a series of satirical works that question the role that government and industry play in modern warfare. He said, "The greatest crimes in the world are not committed by people breaking the rules, but by people following the rules. It's people who follow orders that drop bombs and massacre villages." Maya Lin designed the War Memorial to remember all those who died in the Vietnam-American War. Engraved on the black stone are the names of 58,261 fallen soldiers. It remains the most visited war memorial in Washington, D.C. today. In Maya Lin's words, "This memorial is for those who have died and for us to remember." The memorial highlights the emotional wounds that still have not healed. Some people say that art is not really important and that art does not play a role in changing people's attitude to conflict. But art can play a role in pushing people in new directions and helping people to see things in a different way. It can be persuasive, it can help people to empathize, it can help people to heal.